This is the toy that started our journey. This is a model of Poe Dameron's X-Wing from Star Wars The Force Awakens. We scaled up the dimensions to make this a soapbox that would be big enough to take 2 people. The trouble is though, we're both fully grown men, so by the time we'd made the cart big enough to accommodate us both, it was pretty long and the wings stuck out really too wide. But we absolutely didn't want to compromise on the ratios, so we decided to put hinges on the wings to keep it faithful to the design. So the cockpit at the front we built around Matt. He has to lay down with the steering right between the top of his legs. The hatch, as you can see in this picture, does lift up so he can get in, but it's basically a long snug coffin. The back, by contrast, is decidedly roomy. It's where I control the brakes and this stuff. How cool is that? When we entered the Red Bull Soapbox, we realised that the criteria on the Red Bull race required us to be a certain weight, a certain length and a certain width. And we were too heavy, too wide and too long. So we had to basically redesign. We had to shorten the length of the X-Wing. We had to drop the weight by ripping out some of the reinforcing parts of the cart. And also, critically, we had to replace the wings, which were plywood, with lighter and we decided to be sacrificial polystyrene wings. Then, after a pretty much complete rebuild, off to London in our custom painted luxurious transporter. The day before the race you get to meet all the other competitors and make any adjustments you need to your cart before the race on the Sunday. You get to walk the course, which is actually really useful. We found when we were walking the course it was this ramp here that we had to give special attention to. It's the first one in the course. Seriously, if we thought we can get over that in one piece, then we're home and dry. They send the carts down the hill fairly quickly. They've got 68 on that day to get through, so it's about 1 every 5 minutes. We were 30th in the queue. And yes, you do get nervous. All that waiting and tension builds up until you're stood on the stage waiting to go. Yet with us, we got to the stage and we were told we couldn't go, there was a problem. It turns out the poor lads that went before us absolutely flew down, hit the first ramp, catapulted forward, smashed down and knocked one of the poor lads out. After a brief visit to hospital, apparently he came out and everything was fine, but it certainly did add to the tension. So our game plan here was just give the brakes a little bit of a pinch, get rid of a bit of excess speed before we hit the first ramp. If we can get over this, then we're going to do it. It's going to be fine. Barely felt a thing on that one. Now I need to address the droopy gun situation. When we walked the course, we thought it might be possible that those guns might skim over the top of the bales of hay, and inside those guns was a strengthening piece of wood, and we didn't want that hitting the audience, so we decided to take those bits of wood out. Black polystyrene guns in the hot sun for half an hour equals floppy guns. Here it is, the final jump. We hit this at 29 miles an hour on the speed camera, launching us 2 meters in the air, and we must have literally flown that X-Wing for about 10 meters. I actually heard my neck crunch as we landed. The Matt in the front barely felt a thing. So incredibly, after our first run in a Red Bull Soapbox race, we came 5th, which is amazing. And this is the craft today. We got it back home, put back on its plywood wings, and this beast is ready to fly again.